Parents strongly caution the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
Sup everyone, CBMF Productions here. Today's video is not going to be a very light one, to say the least. The world has gone mad and I quite frankly just don't know what to do with myself anymore. After watching Oppenheimer and really just seeing just the lack of change in the past century ever since nuclear weapons were involved, and the fact that humanity will most likely never change regarding its power dynamic and its refusal to just let things be. The film industry that I'm trying to make a career in is shut down right now because of the strikes going on. As people are picketing out on the streets just to get livable working rights. Please support the writers, you bitches. My favorite ASMR is to speak in fucking Temple Run. And above all else, I've come across this very disturbing trend that has blown up on TikTok and YouTube Shorts recently. For the past month or so, at least that I can tell from these accounts, there's been a growing trend of these celebrity deepfaking accounts, where a person or multiple people, it seems, have been able to use AI and deepfaking technology to plaster a celebrity's face on their bodies and make them do TikTok dances and like lip sync popular TikTok songs and something of that flavor. The main one being JENNA ORTEGA, and because of this account massively blowing up on social media within the past month, generating at least 1 million views on all their YouTube Shorts and all their TikToks, another account has blown up in similar fashion, but this time recreating Leonardo DiCaprio's face and making him do popular TikTok dances for all your enjoyment, I guess. I've seen pieces of these videos coming across my YouTube Shorts feed for the past month or so, but I never really paid much attention to it considering the fact that I've seen way you get the point. I've been through the ringer, I've been through the trenches, I've seen so much more than any human being should see regarding just the exploitation celebrities, mainly regarding JENNA ORTEGA's fame. Ever since she blew up last fall regarding the Wednesday show.
Epic rap battles of history. Wednesday Addams versus Napalm. I don't want to be Wednesday Addams, but you're like a Monday, bro. Why does it sound like it?
Coming up next, the rest of this dumbass video. I've covered them in the chronological timeline for the past few months that I've dubbed the JENNA ORTEGA saga in multiple videos. If this is your first video watching me on this channel, I've seen the wide side of the JENNA ORTEGA fandom. The good side, the bad side, the what the fuck are you doing side, the how much free time do you have side, and more. You could classify this as the next installment of this saga, as if I'm like Kevin Feige with my little hat and my little like Comic-Con board. I mean, it's probably more eventful than anything happening at Comic-Con this year. But I consider this more as a spinoff. It's kind of like the Blue Beetle of the JENNA ORTEGA saga. Is it canon? Doesn't matter. It's all superfluous because people aren't going to watch it anyways. Regardless, as someone who's seen a lot regarding the fallout of JENNA ORTEGA's fame,
I understood that reference.
deepfake is not a new concept I've covered on this channel. Ever since my very first JENNA video in like December of last year, I've talked about JENNA ORTEGA's face being deepfaked on other people's bodies, primarily in the form of deepfake porn. You can go on Google right now, you can search up JENNA ORTEGA porn, and there are several deepfake porn videos of somebody that photoshopped JENNA ORTEGA's face onto someone else's naked body that I would bet was without her consent, and you can see JENNA ORTEGA's face doing very explicit things that I don't really want to describe. It's just don't look it up, people, please. Which is absolutely awful and should be illegal, but the old farts that are in charge of making all these laws are too busy trying to figure out how they can fuck up my generation before they die off. But we're getting off track. My main point is, on the surface, this account really doesn't faze me that much. Because at least this account doesn't consist of JENNA's face being constantly covered in body fluids, and other things. But while my mind was brewing over these thoughts about these celebrity deepfaking accounts for the past few weeks or so, I've come to the realization how truly terrifying these accounts are and what the implication that they stand for in the future of the film industry. Let me explain. Like I mentioned earlier, there's an ongoing actor strike at the moment, working in conjunction with the writer strike going on, where the writers and the actors are trying to fight to get livable working rights to work in the film industry. To break down their major points in a nutshell, because I don't want to get too into it, considering I just made a video about this topic that you should check out, the main point that both these unions want are, to essentially break them down, they want residuals, they want health and insurance benefits, livable wages for their work, and one of the major points they wanted to break down on both sides is the integration of AI and not wanting to replace any human jobs. Consisting of a handful of producers pitching to SAG during their meeting, essentially pitching that they would have background actors come in for a project that they would be signed on by a studio, and they would get hired by a studio, walk in for one day's work, get their face and body scanned by some AI technology, and the producers would be able to own this person's likeness, and defake them to any sort of background project for any future production that they would be involved in, without any sort of compensation, and they would own their likeness forever. Basically giving them an out to not have to pay them to be on sets for multiple days at a time. And essentially could just kind of kill their acting career in a sense, as per the pitch by these producers. And at a time right now where these actors and writers are quite literally trying to fight for their rights, picketing outside these studios just to make sure they have the opportunities to have a livable and fruitful career, and so they can have the opportunities to climb up the ladder and become the next star like a JENNA Ortega or DiCaprio, these accounts cannot have blown up at a worse time. Because of how popular these accounts have gotten in a very short amount of time, and with how overexposed a lot of this deepfaking technology is, all these accounts are doing is validating the studios and giving them a reason to push forward this AI technology on the film industry. Because if these faceless nobodies on YouTube and TikTok can recreate these celebrities from the ground up pretty seamlessly, sure, there are some shorts where JENNA looks like the spider from Miscellaneous Passion Friends, or the worm from Beetlejuice, which is kind of fun because she gets starring in the sequel coming up. But on the contrary, there are some that look damn near photorealistic. To the point where there are some viewers that have seen these TikToks and legitimately thought that these were the actual celebrities on camera, and they thought that Leo and JENNA were actually dating in real life. Considering how good old Leonardo likes to keep his woman young and ripe.
It's not ripe.
My point is, for all the actors that don't want to have their jobs replaced by a machine, these accounts are showing to the studios like Paramount and Netflix that are most likely looking at these accounts. They're probably thinking that they can stretch out this strike to another 6 months to possibly even a year, that this implementation of AI replacing actors could become a reality. And once again, if these accounts can pull it off and these people are just random nobodies that just came out of the blue, and it looks as good as it does right now, imagine if you had studio head level money behind this. Let me give you a scenario, right? Let's say once the strike ends, Scream 7 starts production, right? Paramount starts getting all the crew together, all the cast together, the directors, the writers, they start entering pre-production and they start getting everything together. But Paramount comes to a roadblock as they realize that they can't really get JENNA Ortega back. Maybe because she's just too busy filming other projects like Wednesday Season 2, or maybe that unicorn movie with Paul Rudd.
I'm gonna pop off a piece of my dick.
Or maybe her agent is just asking for too much money, giving her the old Nev Campbell treatment. And so, in response, Paramount's like, we'll just give you $5 million, JENNA, to recreate your face, plaster onto somebody else's body like a stunt double, and recreate her voice because that's been done as well.
Oh, shut up. I saw you force choking me earlier, you fucking child. You're obviously jealous you've been replaced and forgotten already.
Huh, me replaced. Don't make me laugh, you're nothing compared to my sexy bitchy attitude. I'm a vibe and you aren't even the best Wednesday.
Did you seriously just refer to yourself as a vibe? How old are you? Fucking 50? I'm cringing so hard a black hole's gonna open up and cause the universe to collapse. And those tits. Talk about pathetic. These are how tits are supposed to look, not like leftover balloons from last year's birthday party.
Oh, God.
I'll dance with my hands above my head, like Jesus.
Or even more insultingly, they could just get a random blow-up doll, slap JENNA Ortega's face on it, have someone in a Ghostface costume chase her, and bada bing bada boom, you got $500 million at the box office. Put that shit in 4DX too. And at that point, I might as well just go to Paramount, have my face scanned for Scream 7, and they can put my face over Chad's body, so I can be the new love interest. Because let's be real, Chad should have died in Scream 6. But let's look at another scenario, right? Let's say James Cameron wants to make Titanic the sequel, and bring back DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, but Leo doesn't want to come back because he's too busy doing other things. So Disney just ponies up 10 to 15 million, just have DiCaprio's face scanned on someone else's body as he makes out with a 16-year-old or something like that, which also could become a reality very soon. I might be joking about this, but this could honestly be the future of filmmaking if AI is allowed to be integrated in this type of way, to the point where people are literally being replaced by machines. And in an industry right now where most working actors are barely keeping their head above water and having to work multiple jobs, not just in the film industry, just keep their head above water and just have a livable income, and are currently fighting on the streets right now just to get better pay for their work, all these accounts are doing are just validating to studio heads that they don't really need them. And I might just be background actors for now, as the studio heads say, but like I said, this is going to go up the ladder if this continues. If there's like a situation where an actor dies or is in the middle of a huge controversy, they can pay the actor, use their likeness, and just CGI them in and out whatever they like. And we've seen a decent amount of examples of this building up for the past decade or so, in both good and bad ways. And while technology certainly has a place in filmmaking along with AI and it has its benefits, especially when you do have cases like Furious 7 with Paul Walker, where the technology involved was allowed to make that film completed and was allowed to give Paul Walker the send-off that he deserved, I don't want the future of filmmaking just to be ran by computers and just to be focused around how cool new technology is. Because the thing about technology is that it's all about what's the next big thing, what's the innovation, what's the next huge thing that we're going to accomplish, and it's not about sitting and realizing how far you've came.
I may come.
It's all about the future and just moving forward, which is good in some senses, but we've seen it before where at least certain films just putting all their chips in the car regarding the newest technology at the time, like how many early 2000s movies just use a bunch of CGI, and now all these movies have aged like milk because all their technology that they like put so much stock in looks terrible now. And there's not much substance beyond the tech that you want to implement at the time. Looking back at James Cameron, a lot of his filmmaking back in like the 20th century for films like T2, Aliens, The Abyss, True Lies, Titanic, I think all of them have already aged better than the first Avatar. Not only because they're better movies, but because they have more to offer than just seeing blue people in 3D. And that's an experience that most people can't really view at home. It's really only meant for the theatrical experience. And it's already been overshadowed by the sequel. And not to mention the fact that a lot of these older films that use practical effects, and when they did use CGI, it was a perfect blending of the two, they will age better than any of the upcoming Avatar sequels coming up, because it doesn't matter how good the technology is, it will always be overshadowed by something that comes out 6 months later that looks better. And when you use practical effects and it's done right, they age timelessly, because they're real. I mean, even my iPhone 12 has been upgraded like several times since it's come out in the past couple years. I want to be in an industry where people are still making real movies using real people, using real things. CG is a great tool when it's useful, but it shouldn't be the main tool of your movie, or else you get films like The Flash. These accounts are unknowingly showing to the studio heads that they don't need to worry about these silly little actors that want such outlandish things as health benefits and a livable wage and rightful income. And this honestly, not being hyperbolic here, could cause the careers of tens of thousands of actors, because they'll have no chance to get the opportunities to climb up the ladder and build a resume and building themselves a pathway to make their dreams come true, because they're going to be replaced by a machine. And I want to ask you this audience, how do you think Jenna Ortega became famous? Because she busted her ass for like 10 plus years in the film and TV industry, starting with commercials, then building the Disney Channel, then building to doing like horror projects like Scream and X, and then striking gold with Wednesday. How do you think DiCaprio became famous? He started as like the little kid in Creators 3, and then built himself up to become the next heartthrob with Titanic and Romeo and Juliet and like a lot of films in the 90s and early 2000s, to now being one of the most celebrated and recognizable actors in Hollywood. Or even other actors like Paul Rudd.
Get it up in your vag with my dick. With my dick.
Before he became Ant-Man and like the sexiest man alive and shit like that, dude was stopping Michael Myers by placing stones on the ground in a hospital in Halloween 6.
Michael's work isn't done in Haddonfield. And soon, very soon, he'll come home to kill again.
What I'm saying is that if this AI shit is allowed to continue and, be in the film industry in this type of way, no actor will have the opportunity to blossom and grow into a superstar like the actors I just mentioned. It will be to the point where unless you're already established, a nepotism baby, or you just strike gold and are able to work with someone that wants to actually use real people like Nolan, Tarantino, Fincher, etc., the acting industry will shrink and will essentially become just a private club, eliminating so many actors' careers in the long run. I don't want that. I don't want movies and TV just to be consisting of NPCs walking around. If I want a medium where everything is made by computers, I play a video game. I don't want video games and movies to merge into like this one like mangled, like misheveled medium. It already feels like TV and movies are becoming one giant medium, with how many streaming shows are shortened now, in the case of all the Marvel shows that have implemented themselves with the movies, and essentially every major streaming show consisting of just 8 to 10 episodes per season now, and are basically shot like movies now. It's just a mess, and these accounts aren't helping the situation. I mean, how tone deaf do you have to be to realize that you're not helping anyone but yourself in this situation, except the greedy execs that see this type of shit and realize that they can cut off so many actors from these productions? And all done just to cash on this technology that'll be outdated by the end of the year. And like I mentioned earlier, they shouldn't be legal. Using these people's likenesses to your own benefit might seem cool to some, like seeing Jenna Ortega recreate TikTok dances without her consent, but it's gonna get to a point where we really can't tell which footage Jenna is real and which one is just a fabricated version of her. And it isn't gonna get better once this tech reaches the deepfake porn websites. And this is only the start for something much bigger. I mean, I won't be surprised if in a few months we get like a Jenna Ortega sex VR game or something of that nature. Or maybe like in the next version of Duolingo, we get Jenna Ortega being your AI Spanish teacher. Well, I mean, if she learns to speak the language. I mean, how far is this gonna go before people realize that this is wrong? I don't give a shit if she's famous and has a bunch of money. She's a human being and she has feelings too. And these deepfake accounts with Jenna and Leo are only the beginning. I do believe that there are gonna be a lot more celebrity deepfaking accounts of every single major person that you know of in the film and TV industry, and more. I hope somebody in some sort of power right now has the ability to abolish this type of deepfaking stuff. That they do something about it before everyone has the ability to deepfake whatever they want. You know, after seeing all this stuff and realizing that Jenna's being exploited yet again, I'm pretty sure that at this point Jenna Ortega is having a bad day right now.
Get the fuck out!
Thank you, you stupid deepfaking TikTokers. This is all your fault.
What's up, bitch?
Shut up! You're not funny! I don't find you amusing!
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not fucking kidding you right now. Someone's got to tell you this shit.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Yeah, fuck me. Here we go.
But if you do want to help the fight against these deepfakes, there is an organization that I've covered in many of my other Jenna videos, and that's called My Image My Choice. They are the biggest organization that I've known thus far. They are the biggest advocates of trying to get deepfake stuff banned, because it does happen to a lot more people than you realize. I do respect and support their mission. If you want to learn more about them, I'll leave a link to their website down in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment. Anyways, I just think I'll end the video here. For the past few months, I've covered a lot of Jenna stuff and it just seems like nothing's getting better, only getting worse. The world's gotten a lot worse and it just seems like everything's hopeless and nothing seems to get better. So who cares?
A deep breath in.
Okay, I'm back. Regardless, what do you think of this topic? Please leave your thoughts down below in the comment section, as well as don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And before I head out, remember, it's hard to be a perfect person, but not a decent one. See you back.